You won't find love if you believe this. In this video, I am going to share with you the thoughts and the beliefs and the behaviors that we have that actually almost guarantee that love is not going to find you, that you are not going to find love. And we are going to explore a viewer's she didn't write a question, but her comment, and that shows that the beliefs and behaviors that she is displaying are actually keeping love away. And we are also going to talk about what to do instead, like how to stop behaving this way and how to actually become a magnet for the relationship that you really want. So I'm going to start off by just reading this comment. So she said, "Dear Naomi, I'm in my 40s and for 10 years I've not been dating at all. The issue I face is I just keep thinking all single men around my age are not good men. It's in my head that there's something wrong with them." Okay, let's just unpick that part. Okay, so already there is a conclusion been come to. There is an opinion has been come to. So there is like her head, her fabulous brain is working overtime, coming to a clear conclusion that she's decided is fact. And that fact, she says, is all single men around my age are not good men. There must be something wrong with them. So how easy is it going to be to get out and date if you're believing that there's something wrong with all men over 40? It's going to be almost impossible. And if you look at the first thing she said is, I'm in my 40s and for 10 years, I've not been dating at all. So here's the thing to remember. Our opinions are just our opinions. Our opinions are not facts. And this is a really important distinction to get. Our opinions are not facts, yet we treat them like facts. So when it comes to love and dating, we all get terrified. Well, if you're watching this video, you are going to have struggled in love at some point, and you may even be struggling in love now. But you know, what happens is we get scared. I have, I work with the idea that we like have an inner protector. Okay, so we have an inner protector, and that's part of us that wants to protect us from pain, abandonment, all of the things that we fear will happen. And that inner protector works really hard to make sure we're not vulnerable, to make sure we don't open our heart too much so that we don't get hurt. And, that inner protector, like my viewer here saying, I've not dated for 10 years. Now, I believe the part of us inside our inner protector will plant those thoughts. That is the part of us that gives us those thoughts that don't go and date. Single men are my age are not good men. There's going to be something wrong with them. It's like a little kind of alert danger signal that goes off in our head. But actually, let's really, really take on the idea that opinions are not facts. And those opinions have just been formed over time. Our opinions, we can mold them and shape them and make them up into whatever we want them to be to suit us. So if, to my viewer or any of you listening, your inner protector is making up this opinion that men are not good men, and there is going to be something wrong with men in their 40s, then that is going to dictate your thinking. Your thinking will dictate how you feel. If you think that there's danger, you're going to feel afraid. You're going to feel cautious. Those feelings will dictate the action you're going to take. If you feel afraid and think, oh my gosh, men are going to hurt me, are you going to take action to get a relationship? Are you going to go and date? Probably not. And our actions then dictate the results we get in life. Like what happens for us in life, what we get. So what you have right now in your life, your relationship status, whatever you have, what you have right now is going to be the sum total of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. Let me just just move this up a little bit. I just need to move it up so I'm not looking so low. Sorry about the noise of the paper. So really, you know, what I'd say is that let's examine those those thoughts. So here, what I like about her message is she said, it's in my head that there's something wrong with them. So she already on a deep level knows that she's making it up. But there's something more powerful than her is that there's a strong part of her that is used to believing these old beliefs. So we just choose, which part of us runs us, and if this is sort of not really making sense to you, just try on the idea, in the coaching world and therapy world and just personal development anyway, sometimes we talk about our thoughts, certain kinds of thoughts, certain types of feelings as a different part of us. It can be really, really useful to do that, especially when it comes to dating and relationships, to know that you are not just a needy person, or you are not just a love avoidant person, or you are not just an anxious person, but there is part of you that's anxious. But there is also part of you that is strong, and there's part of you that believes in you, and there's a part of you that knows she can have a great relationship. So that's what gives me hope about this comment. Again, another thing she says is, I just can't stop thinking, why are they single and not happily married? So that goes along with the whole there's something wrong with them thing. And also the other issue I face is the good men in their late 30s and 40s just want babies and I'm just biologically old. So can you hear that is an opinion stated as fact? How easy is it going to be to open your heart and date and meet guys if you are believing these opinions? Do pop any comments, any thoughts you have about this, any questions you have about this, do pop them in the chat and I will see them and I will get to them. And then she also goes on to say, I really would like to have the kind of relationship you have, Naomi. So she wants that relationship, and there is a part of her that knows that she can have it. However, look here at that other thing she says is the good men in their late 30s and 40s just want babies. Let's look at then how we change up that thinking. And this is a process I have absolutely followed myself. I think I've seen all my notes here now, that I have followed myself. And that is really important, to challenge your thinking. I used to say to my daughter when she was a little girl and she said, Mummy, I can't do it. I used to say, trick your brain, trick your brain to believe that you can. Oh, here we go. I've got a comment here. It's hard to choose my belief when my body freezes and reacts. Trauma and the resulting defensiveness is so difficult to deal with in the moment when a trigger appears from my spouse. Oh my goodness, I totally understand. And in many ways, Starberry, I'm not saying it's 100% easy all of the time, but what you can do, and I understand, I used to freeze, is that you can work in baby steps. So just practicing one little thing, lovingly challenging one little thought, just feeling your feelings in your body instead of trying to fight them and get rid of them. Just tiny little increments can make such a difference. So if you are struggling with certain thoughts, if you are having opinions and you're stating them as if they're fact, and you know that you are, pushing relationships away, and deep down you're sabotaging relationships, then what I say is do this. So, the thought there, all men around my age are not good men. Is that 100% true? Like, do you know for sure that is watertight true? Like, would it stand up in a court of law as truth, as a fact? So probably not. Let's just establish that that's an opinion rather than a fact. And then we say, well, how am I showing up when I believe that thought as if it's a fact? How am I showing up? How am I behaving? How am I feeling? What action am I taking when I believe that opinion of mine, when I believe it as if it's a fact? And then you can ask yourself, if I didn't believe it, how differently would I behave? The author and coach Byron Katie talks about this. It's worth looking at her work too. She talks about this kind of process, but just really examining and going, okay, I'm believing this as if it's a fact. What I really want is a loving relationship. But if my beliefs are that all men are bad, how am I going to be able to open my heart? Because when you want a really loving, kind, loving, connected relationship with someone who really wants to get to know you and who you are, someone who shows interest, someone who's loving, someone who's kind, that's going to require you to open your heart and be vulnerable. And if you are struggling, if you are unwilling to do that, if your beliefs mean that you are going to be kind of like a harm detective for every man you see, then it's going to be really hard to open your heart to that kind of relationship. And as our viewer here has commented, yes, it can be really hard to start with because your body just takes over. But I'm telling you now, I've seen it again and again. You absolutely can, just with little baby steps. You may have heard of my teacher, Rory Ray. She's a teacher and a colleague, and I teach her her training, her coach training school. And we created a program called the Inner Boy Masterclass, and we look at the whole role of the inner protector in that. So if that's something you're interested in, I will link it in the description below for you. It's an incredibly helpful program, and it takes you through step by step what to do. So really, I would just say, just looking here, our opinions are formed by our upbringing, our parents, our culture, our environment, the people we hang out with. So, have a think out of these three groups. If you're looking for love, who are the people to hang out with? One, people who are eternally single, very negative about dating and relationships, and believe that it's just not going to happen and that all men are awful. Or two, people who are single, who are really motivated to look for a relationship. They're really up for learning and growing, and they're going to support you and cheerlead you, even when you feel like you want to give up. Or three, people who are in really great relationships, really loving, kind, growing relationships. I would say 2 and 3 are great to hang out with. And I would avoid hanging out with people who are single and jaded and negative, because they are going to help you reinforce those old opinions that you have. Whereas the other people are going to challenge those opinions. You're going to see in the third role modeling for the relationship you want. So this is a challenge for you to just start changing up those beliefs. Let me see if there's anything I haven't missed, anything I've missed. Yeah, and what you can also do is ask yourself, okay, you may have had this thought, all men in their 40s are no good, or there must be something wrong with them if they're still single in their 40s. And we've established that that's your opinion, not fact. So tell me what is truer than that. What is truer than all these men over 40 are no good? I mean, what I replied, I replied in my newsletter. If you want my newsletter, I'll put a link below how you can get it, because I've done a really full reply for her. So what you could say is, the right man for me is a good man. Now, is that truer? That's an opinion, but it's going to make you feel a whole lot better and a whole lot more positive about dating. And another one, there are good men out there. I just need to be open and be available to meet them. So again, you don't have to resort to kind of phony positive affirmations that you don't quite believe. But what you can do is just actually look at the real truth. There are good men out there. There are good men out there, and I need to learn the skills to choose well for myself. That is key. So, my loves, it's been really great to see you today. We've been talking about, how you won't find love if you keep believing the old stories in your head and what to do instead. If you've just joined us, please do watch the replay. And I would love your comments. Please do put your either some comments in the chat here, even though we are going to be finishing up any minute. I'm here pretty much every Wednesday and I will answer your questions live. If you want to leave questions in the comments, if it's a subject that I just get really excited about, I will do a whole video on it and I will write a reply in my newsletter. So you will get kind of detailed feedback from me if it's a subject I know are going to help a lot of people. So I will put up another video for you that I think is going to be really useful for you at the end of this one. And you can get that masterclass and you can get free trainings and all sorts, down in the description. So loads of love to you all. And I will see you in the trainings and in the next video. Loads of love to you.